Okay, everyone, that is Josh here. I am gonna be very calm and quiet as I do this. So I am gonna have to whisper a little bit and talk very calmly like this. This is my list. This is welcome to my first annual year list, and pay no attention to people in the background. Um, this is gonna be my superhero movies of 2021 ranked. There were 13 superhero movies, a few theatrical and a few straight to video and one streaming. So, if you guys have been keeping up with my reviews of these superhero movies, you know my thoughts on them, but I thought I have a lot of fun with tier rankings, so I want to have fun with this one. So, we have 13 movies that are superhero related to talk about, and with that being said, I want to have some fun with it, and we're gonna go have fun with this. So with that being said, this is of course my own personal opinion, so if you don't like the choices made here, please don't get angry. In fact, if you want to do a video response to this and do like I do with here, definitely have at it. I would love to see it. I would love to watch it. But these is my tier list of these superhero movies. So the way I have it is it ranges from SpiderVerse Worthy, which is masterpiece, great, which is great but definitely has some problems, good, you have the meh tier, you have the guilty pleasure but still frustrating, then you have disappointing, and all the way to really didn't like. So let's do this, let's break this down, let's make sure we're on a roll here, and let's go. So in number 13, obviously the worst one here of the bunch is Injustice. I may have said this was alright if disappointing in my initial review, but ever since I did that review, my thoughts is not been kind to this. This isn't something that I feel like this is not a very much instant intriguing idea, and on top of that, it is pretty damn dull. And not only was I disinterested in the story that they're trying to tell, but the fact that you had to do what you do to Superman, with me being a big Superman fan, and making him into a full-on villain, does not sit right with me whatsoever.
You should be ashamed of yourself! What?
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
I'm pretty sure there's like this in the Injustice comics and video games, and part of me is interested to see the Sasha Calais Supergirl from Injustice in the Flash, because I think she will be very interesting, and I'm actually rooting for her since it's her first film. But as a game, this works. As a graphic novel, which I have not read, it works. But as a movie, despite some great voice acting, some fun action scenes, and some really stellar animation, and DC Animation always does great with their animation, this just really does not do much for me at all. So ultimately, I have to say I really didn't like it. So I gave it a 1.5 star on my letterbox. I initially gave it a 2.5 star, but again, the grade has changed, so that should tell you where I stand. I really did not like Injustice whatsoever. Very frustrated with that one, and especially as a DC, Justice League, and Superman fan, the certain decisions that are made does not come together fully. Oh boy, this is another heartbreaker, and unfortunately this is from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the first disappointing film. Marvel's The Eternals.
No, God!
I still stand by what I say in my thoughts of it. I do not hate Marvel's Eternals. I think there is good things that they try to do here, and I respect a lot of the things I like in here. The things I like in this movie I really like the performances by Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek and Richard Madden and the rest of the cast. the cinematography, the few action scenes, the thematic themes that you're trying to go with. The fact that this is trying to break away from the usual MCU formula and be something different. And a lot of things that Chloe Zhao was going for, I think she does well. It's a very well shot film, the score is really good as well. And I definitely appreciate a lot of this movie's ambitions. Unfortunately, with your ambitions, doesn't always mean this is going to always work when it comes to in Marvel or DC. And just like Injustice, this movie suffers from a lot of problems. Your main character in Cersei, played by Gemma Chan, who I do respect her and I do like her as an actress enough. I just didn't feel like she was that interesting of a character, to be honest. And
Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it!
And Icarus, despite a great performance from Richard Madden, is no better. You have this whole thing of confliction with him that really does not do much, and it really does frustrate in a lot of areas. And not only that, when characters die in this movie, I don't really feel anything. And the fact that you're trying to tell two stories in one movie. You're trying to tell the story of the Eternals getting back together to stop this big threat. Then you have this whole story about the Celestials, which, I'm sorry, for a movie that is 2 hours and 37 minutes long, not only is this movie, it makes it overly complicated in the story, to the point where I can't really understand what's going on, but it definitely gets to a point where I just have to say this movie is also way too long. I don't have a problem with my superhero movies being long, but if you're gonna at least be long, at least have something interesting going on. Because not only was I disinterested in some of the things that goes on in here, but when this movie, the first MCU moves to break away from the typical MCU formula, you frustrate me and leave me so dissatisfied like this, and you have to go in the disappointing category. I'm sorry, I don't want to as a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan, but I have to be honest. I stand by what I said in my review. And all you people who judge the freaking LGBTQ thing with the character of Fastos, lay off.
That's stupid! Use your common sense!
Coming in and going into the disappointing category as well is gonna be Thunder Force with Octavia Spencer and Melissa McCarthy. I respect his ambitions, and I respect the fact that Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer, two well-known actresses, teaming up and doing something like this. And for the superhero stuff, I had fun. But the problem that I definitely have when it comes to Thunder Force is its comedy and most of its decisions that they make in terms of the villain, the writing, and also a little bit of the direction, because this is easily not the greatest thing when it comes to those three things. The villain is pretty generic. The comedy doesn't even hit at a lot of the time. So a lot of the direction and writing here is not that very well done, and also this is a waste of a beautiful Palm Clee motif from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2, Volume 2, and soon to be released Volume 3, not Volume 1, I'm sorry. The main little girl was good, the rest of the performance is good, but I just don't have that much to say when it comes to Thunder Force. Definitely in the disappointing category for sure. Okay, now next up is Venom Let There Be Carnage. This is coming from someone who initially really hated the first Venom movie, but over time and the rewatches of the first Venom, I think it's better than what I made it out to be in my initial review, but I still have issues with it. I still don't think it's a great movie. I definitely do have problems when it comes to the PG-13 rating. Does kind of holding back Venom a little bit, and the villain is horrible, and dialogue at times, and some of this, and the fact that Sony has to get their little hands on this movie and cut away an extra 40 minutes and just water this down to PG-13 definitely does show. But I do enjoy the first Venom movie to a certain extent. I do own it, so there's that. Venom Let There Be Carnage, same thing. I went into this movie not really excited, but I wanted to keep an open mind. And I'm gonna be fair about this one. I'm gonna put it in the guilty pleasure, but still frustrating category, because I did semi-enjoy Venom Let There Be Carnage. It is an improvement over the first movie. Easily, I still like the humor between Venom and Eddie. Tom Hardy is having fun in the role. Andy Serkis, his direction is much more energetic and much more chaotic, especially with the action scenes and the short runtime, which is mercifully shorter. I still like Michelle Williams in her role, despite her not having much to do. The cinematography, production designs were good, but the absolute scene stealer of this entire movie is Carnage. Woody Harrelson, I think this is a great choice for Carnage. He is hammy, he is ridiculous. They did get rid of that god-awful looking wig, and to a certain degree, Woody Harrelson, he is very crazy and chaotic as Carnage, and he does fit the bill as Carnage. And the way Carnage looks, he looks exactly how I envision him, especially from the cartoon that I watched back in 2016, 5 years ago during Christmas break. And I think all that is good. The frustrating part is once again Sony and their studio meddling and the whole PG-13 rating. You think with the title would Let There Be Carnage, Carnage would actually be killing people. Unfortunately, it's not. But I'm not that I'm saying that I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it. I'm just very in the world with it. But it is a guilty pleasure I can just pop on my phone, or if I do have a DVD copy or Blu-ray copy, I can just pop it in and watch it as background noise while I'm editing or something, or just checking my social media, and I can enjoy it for what it is. But when you look at a character like Carnage and the fight with Venom and Carnage, definitely have to say this should have been a lot better than it was. But again, I don't hate it as much as the first Venom. I just wish these movies would at least let Carnage and Venom be fully restrained with the R rating and let them do whatever they want. Maybe Venom 3, but only time will tell. We're going on into the meh category now. And in the meh category, I'm gonna put G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. I gave this a 3 stars, and I will say, as a G.I. Joe fan of the cartoons a little bit, and as the first 2 movies, Rise of Cobra and Retaliation, I kind of enjoy it. As an action movie and as a Snake Eyes movie is where I feel like it should have been better. Because the things I still like in here, Henry Golden is a great choice as Snake Eyes. I will say the action scenes, for when you can see it, there's good choreography, good fight choreography, good sword choreography, and there's good hand-to-hand combat in the action scenes. I think Ursula Cabrera is the best Baroness in live action that we have gotten, easily beating out Sienna Miller's version. I think some of the rest of the cast is really good. Haruka Abi and the Blind Master. It's a visually looking film from production design and costume design standpoint, and even technical lighting standpoint is really well done. And I will say the musical score and some of the directing here is actually pretty competent. The problem, like I said, I have with this movie is the way this movie is edited in its action scenes. This is the thing I kind of hate with most action movies. If you have great choreography and such, why would you even go as far as to take these action scenes that are well choreographed and just make them look pretty bad editing wise? Because there's good cinematography work for when I can see it. It's just, I feel like this would have been much better with, I don't know if that was a whole pandemic thing, or they had to shoot it that way, or it was because they're trying to get PG-13, which, with a character like Snake Eyes, I feel like this should have been rated R. It wouldn't have done anything, but you would have made the action scenes a little bit better to see. And I will say that when you get some of the writing and some of the character stuff, not as much interesting as you think should have been. And I will say the biggest miscast in this movie is Samara Weaving. I'm sorry, I love Samara Weaving, but she just didn't do much for me as Scarlet. She has her moments, but Rachel Nichols is the superior Scarlet. But Snake Eyes is going in the meh category. I didn't hate it. It's fine for what it is. Now we're getting on to the good category. So number 8, we got Batman Soul of the Dragon. I gave this 4 stars. This is a pretty entertaining, like, Batman movie with Asian culture into it. Is a very interesting thing that for Batman, him and going on with the Tiger Clan and some other characters that we've never seen before, like a couple characters played by Michael J. White and such. And I do like the story, I like the concept, and I think they actually really succeeded in what it was trying to do. I just felt like they didn't really go full blown with it. I feel like you needed a little bit more time with some of these other characters that we are introduced to. I felt like we needed a little bit more to really care for some of these guys. With that being said, I still very much enjoyed a lot of what this was going for, and it definitely earned its place. I did enjoy it for what most part. It was pretty entertaining, it's pretty solid, and I actually really do enjoy what this movie was trying to go for. The voice acting was great, the animation style and the Asian culture representation is really amazing here. It's just those little flaws that keeps this from going in the great tier. Same as this next one, and that is Black Widow. This is also the last MCU movie for Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, as we know the fate of her character. She dies in Avengers Endgame. And for the long wait, I will say it was worth it. I think it's good. I like a lot of things in this still. Scarlett Johansson, this is one of the best she's ever been as Black Widow, and you never deny Scarlett Johansson when she's given a great performance, even in her bad movies. She's an Oscar nominee. Yelena, she's alright. I can live with Yelena. She's not the worst thing ever. But I just feel like Florence Pugh, she does fine for what she's given. I just feel like this should have been someone else, or her voice should have been dubbed over by Natalie Allen or something like that. I'm not being rude. I'm just all fair criticism, but I think she does fine. David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, I thought was a lot of fun. For the story they're trying to tell, I didn't mind the Taskmaster twist with Olga Kurylenko, but as a friend, Tiffany Greenwood, agree on, if you were gonna do this, you should have gave her more to do, and we should have got to at least know her a little bit. The story, It's not the best story for a Black Widow movie, but I've seen worse. Like I said, the problems I still have with the movie, the movie is a little slow paced. Some of the humor is a little iffy, and I will say that, like I said, the third act did get a little too F for me, Fast and Furious like for me, but Black Widow, I still very much walked away really enjoying this. So, absolutely going in the good tier. Now, before I go into these last 5, if you guys are a fan of this, be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell to get notified when videos like this are up. It does help this channel grow, and it does help with the algorithm, of course. And so, as I was saying, sorry about that. If you guys like this, or you want to see more rankings like this, I do have a whole 2021 tier ranking coming like this as well. So, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you won't miss any more videos. I still have plenty more videos. My reviews of the Matrix trilogy are coming. I'm still editing those. I also just released my Animatrix review, which is fighting a copyright claim right now. Yada yada yada. You guys know what to do. And with that being said, let's continue. Now, getting into the SpiderVerse category, I'm gonna put Batman The Long Haul Part 1 and Part 2 in this category. This was really good. Taking the well-loved story of Batman The Long Halloween and splitting it into 2 parts, I think it was the best decision you made. I did read some of this back in high school. Batman facing off with Joker and Two-Face, Poison Ivy, and the story that this movie told is very much respecting the source material that you did. You have some great performances by a lot of the cast. The voice actor who plays Batman, you have Poison Ivy, I think is always a plus. I'm still hoping she gets that live action redemption someday. The Joker is fun, Two-Face is really good. Before you get to that, you do have the Harvey Dent side of things. The Scarecrow is a lot of fun. You also have Calendar Man, voiced by David Dastmalchian, which there's another movie with him I can't wait to talk about. And Catwoman is also really good, and this is also the last movie for Naya Rivera, unfortunately, for all you Glee fans, myself included. So it is bittersweet to watch as well, because this is the last thing you will ever hear or see her in. But she was great for her final film. We took it way too soon, though. I have yet to review these. I will review them next year because I am doing a little DC animated reviews leading up to The Flash and Black Adam. So look out for that. And this will be the first of those. But I really loved Batman, The Long Halloween, and The Long Halloween Part 2. Definitely respects his source material very good. Definitely going in the great tier is Zack Snyder's Justice League, the definitive version of Justice League. Even though I don't hate the 2017 version, that one might be a guilty pleasure, but all the things that the Warner Brothers did as far as cutting out an extra couple of minutes and mandating this man's work to 2 hours even
are not making one goddamn bit of sense.
I don't want to understand it.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
It's a miracle that this cut even got released at all. We all know the production troubles, so I don't have to go into detail about it. Zack Snyder's Justice League, this movie, it lets you get to know a lot of these characters more. I feel like Cyborg is better respected here. Ray Fisher, if we don't get any more of him, it will be sad, but at least he does a very great job. in Cyborg. I really felt for him. I feel like he was treated with much more respect here. The Flash, I even thought I liked him in the Whedon cut, but he was a little annoying looking back at it in some of the stuff. But here, I think the humor for him is even much more fun. He's very jokey. Ezra Miller is awesome in this role. He's definitely much better than Grant Gustin right now. I definitely can't wait to see his Flash movie. He's gonna be epictastically awesome in that. And I also definitely have to say that this movie knew exactly what it was catering to. It catered to the fans in a respectful manner, and it was definitely a worthy version compared to the Justice League cut. Jason Momoa, you get to know more about him. Every single Justice League member gets to be fleshed out a lot more. Henry Cavill's Superman is definitely the soul of this movie, while Cyborg is the heart of the movie. The score was great. The Flash has one of my favorite moments of comic book movie history, and in this movie, Superman, despite him having the black suit with his resurrection, he's still a badass. Ben Affleck is a lot of fun to watch. Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman is great. My only issue, and the reason why this is not SpiderVerse worthy, is I've rewatched this movie multiple times, even the first time. I will still say this. This movie is 4 hours and 20 minutes too long. Luckily, DVD is in 2 parts, so I can skip some of the stuff. Like, there are some things you could have cut. You could trim the opening scene a little, fasten it up a little bit with the credits. The Themyscira scene, you could have at least trimmed it, split it into halves, or trimmed it out. Any scene involving Mira easily should have been removed, because Amber Heard, yeah, justice for Johnny Depp, I said it. The Nightmare scene also could have been a little bit trimmed down as well. You could have put that in the deleted scenes category and kept the Batman Martian Manhunter scene. And some of that slow motion could have been a little sped up as well. With that, I think you'll have at least a 2 hours and 43 minute long film, or at least a 2 hours and 52 minute film at the best. It would have been much more easier to get through, because some people they don't have 4 hours every day. But Zack Snyder's Justice League, I was very happy, and I cannot wait to add this to my DCEU collection. Next up, we have Spider-Man No Way Home. Definitely in the SpiderVerse Worthy category. I loved No Way Home. This is not only one of my favorite Spider-Man movies, but this is definitely the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie we've gotten so far in this series. I loved Homecoming. It was a return to form after the Amazing Spider-Man movies were a bit frustrating. Far From Home was absolutely incredible, especially with that ending. Wow. And they follow it up with an amazing story here, with Peter Parker having to deal with the consequences and the loss of what's happened after the end of the last movie, where his identity is out. Tom Holland gives a very great emotional performance that I easily feel should be nominated for an Academy Award if they choose to. Zendaya and the rest of the cast is really great. I love seeing the villains like Jamie Foxx and William Dafoe and Alfred Molina back. The Lizard as well. Marissa Tomei, she's not in it as much, but for when she's in it, she is awesome. And I will give some minor spoilers here, so don't worry. If you have not seen the movie, this will be uploaded after my review of No Way Home. When she says the classic Uncle Ben line is definitely worthy of anticipation of 2 movies to build up. He finally comes to his own as Spider-Man, and the multiverse being open is very cool. I love seeing him and Doctor Strange interact just like in the cartoons. And I'm gonna admit, I got a little sentimental and almost started crying when I saw Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, but mainly Tobey Maguire, because I didn't think they would actually go along with it, but they actually did. It was very heartfelt, very sentimental, and this definitely has the best ending to the film, an MCU film. And I can't wait to see how much this movie is gonna make in this total run, because Spider-Man fans, the streets is talking with this. Definitely SpiderVerse Worthy. Next up here we have, of course, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I'm debating, do I want to put this in the gray or Spider-Verse Worthy? You know what? I have a few issues with it. Like, I do think the whole character of Alice Braga could have been cut. There are some characters, a few characters I do wish we had more of. And it is a tiny bit slow in the second half. But through all that, I still think James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is a Spider-Verse worthy movie with those issues. Definitely a lot better than his 2016 predecessor, even though I don't blame David Ayer for what happened. That was more of a studio thing. And I would like to see his cut get released so people can stop clamoring for it, because at this point it has gotten old as hell. James Gunn, he definitely has a grip on these characters. You could tell because he did Guardians of the Galaxy, Brightburn, and other movies before this. And James Gunn, he knows what he's doing when it comes to superhero movies. The superheroes here, the villains are very well fleshed out. The comedy is much better. The soundtrack is much better. There are some great heartfelt, emotional moments. This movie also has some of my favorite scenes, like the racism scene at the end. You have Harley's little standout scene. Anything with Sylvester Stallone as Nanawe is pretty fun to watch. Sebastian the Rat is pretty cool. I thought Peacemaker was definitely one of the scene stealers, right next to Idris Elba's Bloodsport, David Dastmalchi's Polka Dot Man, and Sylvester Stallone as Nanawe. But easily the heart and soul of this entire movie was the absolutely fantastic Daniela Melchior, which she is already getting work after this one movie with Sam Neill and Henry Golding, and then she's doing a movie with Liam Neeson. She definitely proved herself in this movie, and when she gets emotional in this movie, I feel the emotion. I even found myself getting a little sentimental with this one as well, especially a scene involving her. This flashback with Taika Waititi. This is just a fun movie. It sucks that this movie didn't do too hot at the box office. I think that must have to do between the pandemic and the whole HBO Max theaters thing. But if you were one of those people who didn't want to see it, or didn't get a chance to see it, or you were put off because of the last Suicide Squad movie, go in knowing what you're gonna get, and I think you will very much love James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. But my favorite movie, superhero movie of the year, this is one of my favorite movies of the year actually, which you will see this again in my 2021 best of and 2021 ranking. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. What else can I say about it? I love Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It's very different from Marvel. You get superhero craziness, but also they decided, let's put some martial arts into this cinematic universe with a new character like Shang-Chi. Simu Liu is a great choice for this character. Awkwafina, I think, is very funny and very entertaining to watch. The Mandarin, he finally got his redemption after what happened in Iron Man 3. This is the real Mandarin. You get to see characters like Wong for a little bit, even the Hulk and Captain Marvel in a post-credit scene, which is very fun to watch. The action scenes are very well choreographed. The heart of this movie is the whole rivalry between father and son. I definitely love the story of that, and the character development is there. The character backstory is there. The emotional weight is there. And when he gets to the point with Mandarin sacrificing himself in the end, spoiler alert, I felt it. I felt that emotional punch. Because that's what I was supposed to do. And not only that, I definitely feel like the movie definitely succeeded in what it wanted to accomplish. It accomplished its goals. It accomplished what it set out to do. On top of that, you have a very kick-ass new female MCU lady who I've been in love with since this movie came out, and that is Xiaoling Zhang. A very great mix of Lucy Liu and Mackie Q. I definitely want to see more of her. I want to see more of the Shang-Chi world. This is SpiderVerse Worthy, and I gave it 5 out of 5 for a reason. So, that was my superhero movies 2020-21 ranked. What did you guys think of this? In the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere right in the middle? Comment down below. Let me know. All my social media links to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all of that is in the description box down below. If you'd like to send money to my Cash App or Chime, they are there as well. It does help with the channel. It does help me with wanting to buy more stuff to make my videos better, and just stuff for myself. All my social media links in the description box down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.